So, since his birth, Baki has been training so that he may one day surpass his father, Yujiro Hanma, and earn his love. Baki's mother, Emi Akazawa, made sure that he had the most advanced training equipment around. She has provided him throughout his life with the best martial arts teachers, personal gym trainers, and sports equipment that money can buy. Soon, Baki outgrows traditional training and heads out to follow the path of his ruthless father's training and meets many powerful fighters along the way. Eventually, Baki fights his father and is beaten without a challenge. Baki does his best in the battle, but it turns out that he had no chance at all. His attacks do not make any effect on Yujiro. Nevertheless, the Yujiro was very satisfied with his son's combat level. When Yujiro starts punching back, Baki's body is crushed into the ground, and Yujiro begins to bombard him with a series of blows to his face, even when the young fighter is lying unconscious. When he's almost killed by his own father, Emi enters the duel. For the first time, she defends her son and attacks Yujiro with her fist, and stops him from any further attacks towards their son. Her act of courage saves Baki's life, but unfortunately, Emi is murdered by Yujiro, who embraces her and breaks her spine. So after his mother's death, Baki decides to go on a long journey to meet powerful opponents to fight. That's when he swears to himself seriously that someday he will defeat his father. So Baki, being the son of Yujiro Hanma, is no doubt very strong. And just like his father, he has obtained the demon back that gives him an unfair advantage in fights. So basically, when a Hanma grows strong enough, they can flex the muscles on their backs in a way that resembles a demon's face. This demon face grants the user virtually superhuman strength and strikes fear into those who see it. So far, only 3 members of the Hanma family have been shown manifesting the demon face. First one was Yujiro Hanma, second was his son Yujiro Hanma, and the third one was his grandson Baki Hanma. The only Hanma who doesn't have a demon back is Jack, and it's still unknown if he's capable of getting a demon back or not. When the user manifests their demon back, their strength, speed, endurance, and durability are all multiplied. So, the demon back has come to the aid of the Hanmas many times. Yujiro, in particular, loves taking advantage of it. He uses the technique against powerful opponents like Doppo Orochi and Kaku Kaio. Some see it as unfair, but he sees it as a part of his arsenal of techniques. Because of this, he uses it as often as he pleases. But Baki, on the other hand, is far more reserved about using this genetic gift. He understands the potential immorality behind it, so his gentle nature stops him from using it. He's only used its full potential a couple of times, once in his fight against Jack Hanma in the underground arena, and then again in his battle against his father. He also showed it off in his fight with Biscuit Oliva, though it's unknown whether he used its powers to defeat Oliva. But unfortunately, no one can have a demon face in real life. It's not a matter of how toned or muscular they are. It's anatomically impossible because the muscles needed to form such a visage don't exist. So other than Baki's demon back, he also has a very unique brain that looks like the face of a demon, and no one other than him in this series is shown to have a brain like this, not even his father and grandfather. So Dr. Kureha has a conversation with Baki and asks him to have a medical checkup. The doctor says that after observing Baki's fight against Pickle, he thinks it's time for the boy to have his head examined. Kureha says this because he believes that an 18-year-old should not have this lifestyle. Baki agrees to this request and goes to get his brain examined, while Kureha was watching him. Later, we see the doctor is very surprised and concerned after seeing Baki's test results, because he cannot believe what he saw. He sees that Baki Hanma's brain is completely different from anything he has seen before in his entire life. So it turns out that Baki's frontal lobe is in the shape of a terrifying face of a demon, and after the finding, Kureha makes a phone call to contact a friend. Kureha calls Dr. Mogi and tells him that they must meet immediately. Mogi is a renowned neurologist in Japan, and in Kureha's eyes, there is no one better than him to analyze this case. So Mogi accepts the request, but when he arrives, he is also completely shocked by what his eyes see, and doesn't even know what to say about it. Both professionals agree that the lifestyle of a human being should not affect the shape of the brain. Mogi says that surely the owner of that brain must be a very strong man, and Kureha confirms it. So neither of the two specialists could say exactly why Baki's brain had taken the form of a demon. However, based on what we have seen, we can deduce a couple of things. The first theory is that the Hanma family has activated the demon brain from the moment they are born. This can be posed after analyzing the birth of Hanma Yujiro. Because after Yujiro Hanma was born, Even as a baby, he manages to communicate telepathically with the woman who helps his mother to give birth to him. Yujiro even gives orders to his mother to carry and feed him, and this could probably be an exclusive ability of the demon brain. So if Yujiro was born with this ability, it is likely that Baki was born with it as well. The second place where Baki would have awakened this power would be in the Underground Arena tournament. At that point in the story, we saw Baki more serious and thirsty for victory. So perhaps Baki awakened this power in the fight against his brother Jack Hanma, because in that battle Baki also awakened the demon back for the first time, so he was probably also able to activate the demon brain at that very moment. Another moment where Baki would have unleashed this power would be when Yujiro killed his mother. However, after that moment, Baki didn't show any kind of improved ability in his body, so it is unlikely that he obtained the demon brain on that occasion. We must keep in mind that the demon brain would be a kind of catalyst. By this I mean that it would not bring a specific ability to Baki's body, such as more muscle mass or physical endurance. The first ability that the demon brain would give Baki is probably the ability to ignore reaction time. By this I mean that moment when Baki moves at a speed beyond the reach of the human eye and knocks out his opponents without them being able to see him. For example, the time when Baki knocked out Biscuit Oliva and Musashi Miyamoto in less than a second could be because the demon brain had total control of the body. Therefore, Baki did not have to wait for the neural connections to go from the brain to the body to be able to move. Basically, this demon brain could be the reason behind Baki's insane growth, because it probably provides a much faster reaction time to Baki in fights. And it may also be the reason for Baki's insane imaginations during fights. So the brain is also exclusive to Baki, as we have not seen any other character other than him with this demonic brain. So the hand-to-hand combat techniques used by Baki are also varied in nature, which are developed and expanded throughout the series. His combat style is clearly mixed martial arts, integrating movements of various doctrines. This would be mainly karate and pro wrestling, and in his minority judo, kempo, jujutsu. This includes both original movements and movements of his previous rivals and opponents obtained through his training, creativity, and experience. He is known for his unusual training methods, which include shadowboxing, while imagining that his next opponent is actually with him. This allows him to anticipate every move of his opponent in the actual fight, and also helps him spot their weaknesses much before the combat. Despite not being able to master any style of combat instantly like his father, Baki is able to learn them much faster than others, and coupled with his imagining makes him near equal to Yujiro. So Baki's ability to quickly adapt and learn new fighting styles might also be an ability of the demon brain. So Baki's strength is constantly growing throughout the series. At the start of the anime, Baki at age 13 was able to defeat 37 of 100 thugs by himself. When he confronted Kaoru Hanayama, he was shown to effortlessly overpower several men trying to hold him back, and kick Hanayama's 250-pound desk out the window with ease. He was shown fast enough to catch a knife thrown at him from 15 feet away. Baki's strength increased more during his fight with Gaia, when he learned to utilize his endorphins to boost his strength and speed. When he activates his endorphins, it also allows his body to react and move on its own, without his conscious effort. The 13-year-old Baki was shown strong enough to tank Hanayama's punches, which are powerful enough to split a fence open. He was also able to push Hanayama's 350-pound body 30 meters away with a single punch. Baki had enough stamina to fight for 12 hours straight with Hanayama and Yuri without stopping, all while wearing a 45-pound training belt, proclaiming the 12-hour session as a warm-up. At 17-year-old Baki was already the champion of the Tokyo Underground Dome. In the beginning, Baki was shown to bench press over 320 pounds when training. As Baki never stops getting stronger throughout the series, it is difficult to set a definitive level for his strength. When Baki is 17, he has shown much improvement. While in gym class, Baki was shown to do 10 pull-ups in 2 seconds and ended up breaking the pull-up bar in the process, jumping 20 feet in the air over a 20-feet gap from a standing position, and breaking his arm cast into pieces by simply flexing his arm. He was fast enough to effortlessly dodge a thug's chain weapon with a rock attached to it for blunt damage, while the thug was able to swing his chain at speeds of over 100 miles per hour. He also took a knife out of another thug's hand without the thug even seeing him do so, while the thug could swing his knife back and forth in his hands at imperceptible speeds to the human eye. When Baki was poisoned by Yanagi, he participated in the Chinese tournament and cured his poison. His body was renewed, and Baki remarked that his body feels light like a feather. Baki then easily defeats Shunsei Kaku in 2 seconds without the opponent even landing a hit. It should be noted that by this time in the story, Baki can be considered one of the strongest characters in the series, with his strength, speed, stamina, and arsenal of techniques being superior to almost everyone else. So Baki was eventually able to fight Oliva, and he kicked him so hard that Oliva was sent flying. Baki was also able to stand up and kick Oliva after being slammed into concrete walls and falling from the top floor of the prison. He was able to knock out Oliva by utilizing the 0.5 seconds when Oliva was getting ready to move. Baki manages to succeed over Oliva in a bout of pure strength by a brawl of fists until Oliva loses. Baki was able to withstand Pickle's test of strength attack, while the latter charged at Baki with the force to rival a Triceratops. Baki was able to knock down Pickle in 2 moves, using a double leg kick and a high roundhouse kick to Pickle's face. Baki demonstrated his genius prowess by knocking out Pickle by gently tapping his chin. Baki also demonstrated his mastery of the 5 animals martial art, combing all of the dinosaur styles and making Pickle see the illusion that he is more dangerous than the dinosaurs. Close to the end of the fight, Baki was able to match Pickle's speed and pushed him back. Baki challenged Pickle to an all-out fight, but Baki lost due to Pickle using a jujutsu technique that was completely unexpected and came as a surprise from the primitive man. But even though Baki lost, he was still able to instill fear into Pickle. Later, before Baki's ultimate fight with his father, Baki is shown to be so strong that he can completely vaporize a punching machine pad with a casual punch. At this point, it can be safely assumed that Baki is possibly the second strongest character in the series. However, Baki was shown to still be vastly inferior to Yujiro, until Baki's demon back had activated. When Baki's demon back appeared in his fight with Yujiro, he was shown to be powerful enough to actually hurt Yujiro, and this was something that no other character had been shown to be able to do. In the end, Baki ends up losing to Yujiro when they have a punch-out until one falls, although there is still enough of a difference between them that Yujiro is able to stop and let Baki attack him, as Baki is no longer able to effectively fight due to injuries and exhaustion. However, Yujiro admits in the end that he can no longer be called the only strongest creature alive, as Baki is worthy of being considered Yujiro's equal due to him forcing him to use more effort than he ever had in the past. So it's very likely that Baki is soon going to surpass his father and become the strongest man in the world, and I'm just waiting for it to happen. So yeah, that's all for this video, and thanks for watching.